Tom Aspinall just came out and said that he is not going to fight Ciryl Gane next. He's calling the shots as a champion and sticking it to Ciryl Gane, who was the guy that turned him down after the France card. Aspinall wanted to fight Ciryl Gane turned him down. Now it's the other way around where the champion wants it to happen on his terms, not Ciryl Gane's, who's been getting title shots left and right, and in Aspinall's words, the guy feels like he's entitled to the title, and he needs to go and fight Jailton Almeida. Tom Aspinall is saying that Ciryl Gane should fight Jailton Almeida first, and then he will fight the winner. Whether he waits it out, or he goes and fights Stipe Miocic in the meantime, which he thinks that should be the next fight in line. He thinks Stipe should be his next opponent, while the number one contender gets established between Gane and Almeida. And I agree with this, but I just don't like the whole thing about champions picking their shots. I think they should fight whoever comes up to them. And especially Dana is a big proponent in this as well. With Islam Makhachev's quote that they plastered on the wall, they expect their champions to face any contender that comes in front of them. And if Aspinall turns him down, I don't know what the relationship is going to be like between him and the brass. But ultimately, if this is what happens, if Ciryl Gane goes and fights Jailton Almeida, which in my opinion does make sense as well, Ciryl Gane has fought for the title a little too much. He's already gotten 3 title shots in the last 2.5 years. If he gets a 4th, while only winning 1 time against Sergey Spivak, I don't know about that. So I do like the other side of it where Gane fights Almeida, and it actually should be a very good fight, should test both of those fighters in their weaknesses. Ciryl Gane's weakness is the grappling. Almeida is one of the best grapplers at heavyweight. Almeida's weakness seems to be his striking, and Ciryl Gane is the best striker at heavyweight. So it's really going to test each other's weaknesses going into that fight, and it should ready them for a well-rounded champion in Tom Aspinall. Whether Aspinall waits it out, which I don't like that either. I like to see the champion go up against maybe Stipe Miocic if this happens, and he should absolutely blow right through Stipe. And we do also know that Stipe never turned down a fight with Aspinall. They just didn't ultimately pick him in order to fight for the interim title. Maybe they go that route now since we don't know when Jones is going to come back. They're saying 8 months at least, but it could be longer out because the guy is 36 years old. He's been in the game for a long time. His body has been wearing down. He might be out longer than we anticipate. And because that, Stipe could be out longer than he expects. I don't know who will win between Almeida and Gane. I'm slightly leaning to Gane. But if he gets taken to the ground, he might get submitted very easily. Regardless of who he fights, Almeida or Ciryl Gane, Aspinall should beat them in the respective weaknesses. So he'll beat Almeida on the feet and he'll beat Gane on the ground. Which is crazy because we don't see a lot of well-rounded heavyweights on the level of Tom Aspinall. That he can go and do that. That he's so good of a striker and so good on the ground, you have to do both in order to fight him. But if all those matchups happen, then what do you do with Sergey Pavlovich? Do you give him Alexander Volkov? And then what do you do with Curtis Blades? Do you do Curtis Blades versus the loser of Almeida and Gane? And I also do agree with Tom Aspinall when he's talking about the whole John Jones and Stipe Miocic matchup. It's like I said before, man. Once Tom Aspinall defends his belt once or maybe 2 times, he'll be looked at as the real undisputed heavyweight champion, regardless if Jones has the belt or not. And the reason for that is, Jones beat Ciryl Gane. Yes, he beat a guy that was never the undisputed champion. Tom Aspinall just beat a guy who also was not the undisputed champion. Ciryl Gane was interim at one point, but he didn't hold the belt when he fought Jones. Now, if Aspinall defends his belt before Jones does, it's just common sense. Aspinall, whether the interim is next to his name or not, he is the real champion of heavyweight, not John Jones. I know Henry Cejudo, who is or was a training partner of John Jones, he's saying that regardless of what Tom Aspinall does, he'll always be the interim champion until Jones gives up the belt. Sure in name, but not of what they've been doing. I would like to say that Tom Aspinall is a guy who wants to defend his belt against other contenders, but he is looking at Stipe. Same as Jones, right? Jones and Aspinall are both looking at Stipe at the moment. If you're in Stipe's position, you have to be happy with this, right? You got 2 guys who hold the belt that want to fight you, and you've been out for over 2 years. For once, Stipe Miocic is in a good place to do what he wants at this point. He can pick and choose if he fights Aspinall first or he waits out for John Jones. If you're Stipe Miocic, what do you do here? Do you take this fight against this young monster in Tom Aspinall, or do you wait out for the big money fight and ride out to the sunset with John Jones? The guy's been out already. If I was in Stipe's position, I would wait out for Jones. But if I was a matchmaker or just looking at it as a purist, I like to see him fight Tom Aspinall.